policeman said, did I want to see where it happened? I said, what good would that do? He said it might help towards closure. I said, closure? It only happened last Sunday. You haven't even had the inquest yet. Had his notebook out, kept ticking stuff off. Said he knew it must be hard, but did I want counselling? I said, oh, what is that? The RAC? He said, that's a no, I take it. How long had he had the bike? Could I confirm what CC it was? He said they usually put some flowers on the spot where it happened. I said they could save their money, as he didn't much care for flowers. I know the police apparently do it anyway. As the feeling is, it reminds the public where a tragedy happened. So it's an investment, as the flowers are a contribution to road safety, and they come off the council budget. Only young. It said it was normally a policewoman, and they're short-handed at the moment. You silly sod. I said, bird watching? Clifford, you don't need a motorbike to do bird watching. What's wrong with a car? Then we could both go. He said we could both go on the bike. I said, me? On the bike? No fear. Flaming thing. I keep thinking about those scrutty police carnations that tie to a fence somewhere. Could probably come from the garage and still in their cellophane. I hate that. So, I thought, if only for the flowers, I ought to put in an appearance. Well, it's way up the A65 and on the other side of Skipton. No flowers on any fence that I could see, but I kept getting hooted at for slowing down and looking. Only then, I saw these skid marks on the verge, and there were some flowers on the grass. White, whereas I'd been looking for red, and not carnations, chrysanthemums. Only I was lucky because there's a lay-by opposite and I can put the car in there. What else? It could have been a nice spot. Little patch of grass, little bank, a few bushes and the odd tree. And in the next field, there's sheep. And in the distance, elves. Awful that it was there, but not a bad place. I stood there on the verge for a while, watching all the cars and lorries thundering past, and motorbikes, of course. I love that road. It's nowhere, but still, it's a real place. or him dying there as Maiden's place. I'd taken him some proper flowers, lilies they were, and I laid them up against the tree. Bark gone, so maybe that was the tree. Only I'll not go again. It's morbid, and I don't want to make a career out of his grave. Not that it is his grave, it's a copse, almost. Except that's what they call it when there's been a crime scene. With it being wet, the bike had churned up the grass, and you could follow where it must have skidded and thrown him off. I took a couple of pictures to send to our Eileen in Australia. Policeman's just called. Inquest been adjourned, doesn't know why. A backlog was all he said. Earlier on, while I was stood there, watching all the cars and lorries thunder past, I kept wondering why nobody stopped. Somebody died, after all. But of course they don't stop. Why would they? The policeman said, did I know what was in his pannier bag? I said, listen, the bag was his province. Why? He said, just filling in the gaps. I loved you, Clifford. So why don't I feel anything? Lonely. I feel. I found a board and a couple of bricks in the garage and made myself a little seat. It's on the side furthest from the road, overlooking the field. So in between sessions, I go there and I sit and I watch the sheep. I do half an hour at a time, just standing there where it happened. Don't look at the traffic or anything passing, just straight ahead. Bearing witness, I suppose. Except I wasn't a witness. That was the problem with the inquest. No witness. Nobody saw it happen. That's partly why it's been adjourned, apparently. I come twice a week, weather permitting. And I do come in the rain sometimes, because folks do stare at that, standing in the rain. And not counting my sentry duty, there's lots to do. I keep it immaculate, keep it clean, just as it was. Pick up any litter, because it's shocking the stuff that people just chuck on the verge. It is a grave, after all. Once upon a time, somebody dying would give a place a name, earn it a designation. Clifford's Corner, Barker's End. Not now. Happens far too often now. This road in particular would be a string of names. Death Map. And what erases it all is traffic. Wipes out memory and remembrance. No one's actually stopped to ask me, but said they did. That's what I'd say. I'm standing here as a reminder. I wonder if it was a badger or a bird that made them swerve, because I do see birds. It's a kind that comes sometimes. Cruel looking thing. Maybe looking at that. He was in his leathers, only at the inquest, the police said his trousers were open. That doesn't sound like Clifford. Some strange flowers there today. Not mine. Nice, I suppose. I've got myself an orange jacket now. High vis, they call them. With luck, folks will notice me a bit more. The last thing I want to do is blend in. Your policeman stopped by today. Parked his car in the lay-by, walked across. Said, did I have a moment? I said, well, I've got my schedule to keep up. Only don't stand there. He said, where? I said, you're right on the tyre tracks. I try to keep them crisp if I can, out of respect. Went and stood on the grass, said, is this all right? I said, I hope you've noticed I've got a safety jacket on. He said, yes. Only, I said, only what? He said, well, I can understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate you need to grieve, only you've started kneeling now, haven't you? I said, yes, I do kneel. It makes more of a statement. He said, yes, only you must see that on your knees and in that jacket, you're a real hazard. Drivers notice you. They look. I said, they're meant to. He said, yes, only you're an accident waiting to happen. I said, so do you not want me to wear the jacket or do you not want me to kneel? He said, neither of it's all the same to you. Can't you just make up your mind to move on? People do. I said, move on. The inquest hasn't even come out yet. He said, that's what I want to talk to you about. So we went and sat on the seat. He said, this is nice. Sheep. I said, yes, they'd come over if you weren't here. They know me now. Did your hubby ever have a passenger? Somebody on the pillion? He took his hat off. I said, he didn't know anybody. If anybody was ever going to go on the pillion, it would be me. Why? He said, well, there was a spare crash helmet in his pannier bag. I said, I don't know what was in his pannier bag. It was bird watching. There can't have been anybody else. He said, he was looking at the sheep all this time. I'm not saying there was, only you don't always need anybody else. The autopsy showed that he just, I said, just what? He said, climaxed. I've never really caught I said, Clifford? No. He said, it's the speed. They get a kick out of it. I said, bird watchers? He said, bikers. It was a biker first and a bird watcher second. I said, how do you know? He said, don't worry, it won't come out. The coroner is very discreet. Sat for a minute or two. I said, you got some of the mud on your trousers. I'm still going to kneel, only I won't wear the jacket. He said, that's the stuff. He just picked his horn as it went off. The car came later on, circling round. More flowers today. Anemones. What I do now is I meet the police halfway. Either I wear the jacket and stand, or don't wear the jacket and kneel. I bring my garden kneelers now, they make it easier. I was just doing a stint yesterday, I was freshening up the tyre treads, when somebody rolls up on a bike. Doesn't park in the lay-by, but lugs his bike right up onto the verge. Another foot and he'd been right on the place. Cross on his helmet, but it's not until he takes it off I realise he's a vicar. Shakes hands, says there's a vicar first and a biker second. Only he can't keep still. Wanders about all over the place. And eventually I get him to sit down, where he asks if he can say a prayer. I said, well, it's a bit late for that. He said, well, not for him, for you. He said, I bless bikes. I'm the rev who revs. I probably blessed your husband's bike. I thought, well, didn't do him much good. But I didn't say. I said, did the police send you? He said, not specifically. I said they were trying to make out there'd been somebody on the pillion. He said, there was someone on the pillion. Jesus was on the pillion. He always is, even if we're not riding a bike. Asks me how I see it ending. I say I don't. I'm bearing witness. He said, what to? I said, death. He said, well, I can't argue with that, obviously. But isn't there something more constructive you can do? I said, like what? What would society say? Get together with others who have been bereaved in the same way. Move on. After all, that's what cemeteries are for, not places by the roadside. Gets up, says, did he hit this tree? I said, probably. The sheep will have seen it. He said, do you want me to bless the tree? I said, not particularly. You could bless the sheep. He didn't think it was a good idea. And after a bit more wondering about it, revs up and revs off. I wasn't very nice, I know. And He's a vicar. He should be able to see that it's not a crime scene. It's a shrine. I knelt for a bit, and then sat on the seat. Forecast rain today, so I put some bubble wrap down to cover up the tracks. I was late this morning, so when I got there, there was a bike in the lay-by, and a woman standing there. I said, "Is it you that leaves the flowers?" She said, "Now and again. I seen you many a time as I was passing by, and I felt I ought to offer my condolences. Only shy, I suppose." She didn't look shy. Dyed hair, big bust, tattoos on her fingers, leather from head to foot. She said, "You shouldn't kneel. He wasn't a saint." I said, "I'll decide what he was." She said, "Can we sit down?" I said, "You can, I'm alright." So she sat on the seat. I didn't know Cliff well. I said, "Is that what you called him?" She said, "Well, what do you call him?" I said, "His name was Clifford." She said, "Well, maybe that says it all." It was nothing to get worried about. We just used to share a bacon sandwich. I didn't say, but I know for a fact that he didn't like bacon. It didn't do for him. Strictly speaking, she said, it was a bacon and egg sandwich. He had the egg, I had the bacon. I didn't ask what happened to the sandwiches I made him. Probably chucked an edge somewhere, else fed to the ducks. He gave his own sandwiches away, he said, to some of the young lads. They used to fight over them. Real gourmet sandwiches they were. One of them said it was one time in the week he ever tasted avocado. I sat down on the bench. Avocado, tomato, and mozzarella there were. I'd make some for him, and one for me. I'd think about us eating them. Me at home, and bird watching. "What lads?" She said, "He gave me one once, only I'm too much of a bacon fan." Bird watching? Cliff? Really? Don't misunderstand me, but to tell the truth, you were a bit unexpected. I said, "What? He was shy." Gave him his levers, and he wasn't shy, she said. I said, "Was he racing?" She said, "Chasing, more like." I said, "Do they do that? What for?" And she said, "Oh, devilman. get them on a bike, and they do all sorts. Men. In the finish, I came round to her a bit. I could see why Clifford liked her. Maybe she liked him. Because when she got back on her bike, I could see that she was crying. I don't know what to think. You don't cry over a bacon sandwich. Cliff. In a story or a film, say, you'd cut to me, who has turned over a new leaf, and gossiping Cliff's Leathers is now presiding over a transport cafe. And as bikers crowd the hatch and lather their sausages with ketchup, you'd see it was the scene of the accident, only now transformed. And a sign over the van, Cliff's Corner. And then come, because it's not just big. He's come. I say in a story or film. But it was Betsy, actually, who suggested a calf. The blonde woman whom he'd palled up with. Well, he could have done it. A pair of us, out of the insurance money. And I didn't think so. Catering's no game. And they're travelling packs, bikers. Half a dozen cooked breakfasts on a Sunday morning. No fun. And even if it was just bacon and egg sandwiches, it'd soon choke you off. Cliff would do it. But not Cliff. He'd say, don't go there, love. And anyway, I don't know, Cliff. I left this while, and then I went and cleared the site up. Dismantled my bench. Sheep staring still. Tire tracks are overgrown, but I stamped them in anyway. Didn't kneel. Didn't even stand. So now it's back to being nowhere. Although it was a place. Because Clifford, or Cliff, died there. And all along the roads of England, there are places, spots, where loved ones have died. And for some, even the emptiness of the mid-Atlantic will be a place. Or the Indian Ocean. Happiness does it sometimes. But it's more often death is the place, Nick. The police fetched round his helmet. 2 of them, like they said. I've made them into hanging baskets. I've got tomatoes in one. Nasturtiums in the other. That apart, there's nothing much left. Except his computer. Cliffs, I suspect. Rather than Clifford's. That'd be another bag of tricks, which I can't open and shan't try. Though I gather there are people who can do it. Somebody came around doing a survey on bereavement. I said man wasn't typical. Although it was kind of mourning. Going up there, keeping a vigil, finding out stuff. I wish I'd known. Or maybe I hadn't. It was such love.